Early Americans. Life wasn't always the way it is today, and our country used to look a lot different. Before any of our families arrived here, the first groups of people that lived in America were the Native Americans, or American Indians. Native Americans belonged to different groups or tribes with names like the Blackfoot, the Iroquois, the Navajo, the Hopi, and the Chippewa. Their tribes were spread out all across the country. Each tribe made different kinds of houses to live in. Some groups carved their homes right out of the cliffside. Some built their homes out of mud. Many tribes moved around a lot and made homes they could take apart and bring with them. These teepees were made of wooden poles and animal skins and could easily be taken apart when it was time to move on. Wigwams were not made to move around. They were built in place with wooden poles and covered with sheets of woven mats or maybe birch bark. Native Americans fed themselves and their families by hunting and fishing. They also grew and ate a lot of corn. You can see that their clothing was usually made from animal skins, since that's all they really had to make them out of. Some tribes used a loom to weave blankets that could also be used for clothing. Eventually, people began to arrive from other countries, such as Spain, France, and England. These people who left their country to live in a new land are called settlers. One well-known group of settlers were called the Pilgrims. They were some of the first people to arrive. They built a brand new settlement and called it Plymouth. This new life was difficult for the Pilgrims, and the winters were very cold. After their first harvest of food was grown, they had a special celebration and called it Thanksgiving. The name Thanksgiving was used because they wanted to give thanks for their food and their new homes. We still celebrate Thanksgiving every year, and now you know why. More people kept coming to America, and eventually there were 13 colonies of settlers. Staying in touch with friends and family usually meant writing a letter and sending it by mail. It could take weeks for a letter to arrive, since it had to go by horse and carriage. Now we can communicate by email, which takes only a few seconds. You can see that life was very different and much harder for the early Americans than it is for all of us today. Thanks for taking this trip back in time with us, and we hope to see you again soon. Bye for now.